Friday, December the 15th, 2017, to you. And finally, no dinosaur was found in my backyard. So I will write about the Federal Communications Commission FCC decision taken yesterday. FCC voted 3-2 to dismantle landmark rules regulating the business that connect consumers to the internet. The agency scrapped the so-called net neutrality regulations that prohibited broadband providers from blocking websites or charging for higher quality service or certain content. Under net neutrality rules, internet providers are required to treat all online content the same. Well, that is how things used to be until yesterday, I'm afraid. First and foremost, ever since the internet massified in the early 90s, Americans have been taking it for granted. They could watch movies by the internet, they could even make cheap phone calls by the internet. Many people have said that this is the end of the internet as we know it. That said, this FCC decision will encourage citizens overseas to defend their internet rules in their own countries. We would not like it if we received an extra bill for using Netflix or Skype, as it could happen in the United States. However, we must be sure that there will be a long legal battle before such an outcome may effectively take place. Companies like Google or Facebook will file against the FCC decision. If I were cynical, I would affirm that lawyers cheered nationwide as a result of that event. On the other hand, Congress, not the current one, but the next, could pass legislation declaring net neutrality a legal rule. So, this is by no means how the story ends for net neutrality in America. On the other hand, a big share of world's data is stored in servers located in America. The end of net neutrality could mean an obstacle in the flow of information, so many foreign entities could file against the United States in international trade courts. Not to mention that, from now on, world institutions, both government and non-government organizations, will choose to host their servers somewhere else. Finally, we must remember that net neutrality does not concern the internet, but merely the broadband service. Internet is a means of communications like the telephone is too. Making a phone call back in the 60s using a rotary disk was a different experience than making a cheap phone call now using Skype. Broadband service market is too concentrated. There are vast areas in the US served by just one internet provider. However, scrapping net neutrality could encourage the discovery of new technological standards for the internet, like Wi-Fi and so on, which could ensure for consumers a better service at a lower price. So when FCC Chairman Mr. Ajit Pai, perhaps America's most hated man, said, "We are helping consumers and promoting competition," it could have been true. In short, this is by no means the end for net neutrality, either in trial or by trial. The world is still on.